Good morning, students. I am Mr. Francis. So, we met in the previous lecture. We had one more video before, and that was class 10 chemistry part 1. So, today we are going for the video number 2 for class 10 physics, chemistry, chemical reactions part 2. Okay. So, in the previous lecture, we discussed about addition reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, displacement reaction, and precipitation reaction. So today we are going for the next part of the video, and in that we will be meeting with the rest of the types of chemical reactions. So the chemical reactions that we are going for today, number 1, we have neutralization. Which one? Neutralization reaction. Neutralization, the word comes from the word neutral. Neutral means what? Neither acidic, neither basic. Okay. So this is a particular type of reaction which occurs only when we have an acid and a base. Okay, so whenever these two, an acid or a base, are added, what happens? It yields salt and water. Salt and water. So acid is acidic in nature, base is basic in nature, but the product you see, product salt, salt is neutral in nature, and as well as water is also neutral in nature. So these two lose their property after the reaction and produce neutral substances. Okay, neutral products are being produced. Therefore, this reaction is said to be neutralization reaction. So let us take one example. For instance, we have HCl in dilute condition plus NaOH, that also aqueous. Okay, when these both are reacted, we get an ACl plus H2O. Okay, so as HCl is quite strong acid, NaOH is also quite strong base, but though regarding of their strength, the resultant that we get, NaCl, is neutral, and as well as our H2O is also neutral. So this is what is neutralization reaction. Okay, so there are various acids and there are various bases, and whenever they react, they will yield salt and water, which will be neutral in nature. Okay, so this is about neutralization reaction. So now we will go to the next one. Okay, the next one is our oxidation. What? Oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction. This, whenever we study science, we should always go for the, what is the name? This name, this name gives us the almost the idea of what it can be. Okay, so this name oxidation, it is derived from the word oxygen. Okay, oxygen, you are very familiar with it. Oxygen, you breathe oxygen, oxygen is present everywhere almost. Oxygen. Okay, so the type of reaction in which oxygen is being added. Oxygen is added. What is added? Oxygen is added. Okay, that type of reaction is called oxidation. That type of reaction is called oxidation. So let us take one example. For example, we have a carbon plus O2. It will provide us with CO2. Okay, so it's balanced. So this is what? Oxidation reaction. So let's go to the next example. For instance, we have sodium. Okay, sodium plus O2. Okay, sodium plus oxygen. What will it give us? It will provide us with Na2O. Na2O. So let's balance it. It will be 2 here and here 4. So let's Sodium plus oxygen, it will provide us with Na2O. So this is our what? An oxidation reaction. Okay, why? Because it is being added, because it is being, oxygen is being added to sodium. Okay, let's go to its what, electronic level. Okay, atomic level, what the reaction says. Suppose, let us take the sodium one. Okay, uh, don't take sodium, let us take calcium. calcium Calcium, and here we have oxygen. Okay, let's draw their electronic dot structure. Okay, electron dot structure will make. So calcium will have two valence electrons. Yes, calcium will have two valence electrons, and oxygen will have 1 2 3 4 5 6 valence electrons. Okay, calcium will have two valence electron and oxygen will have six valence electrons. And you know that calcium will want to complete its octet, and at the same time oxygen will also want to complete its octet. So how will calcium do it? It will donate its both electrons. Okay, and what is oxygen going to do? Oxygen is going to accept the electrons that are being donated. Why? Because they are together. No, they are going to react, so they have kept them together, so they are doing this, they are transferring each other's electron. So calcium is transferring its electron to whom? Oxygen. So you see that oxygen is being added to whom? Calcium. When oxygen is being added to calcium, what is happening? Electron is being donated to oxygen. So in a way we can say addition of oxygen is called oxidation, but in other way we can say taking away, this, taking away, this taking away of what? Electrons. Taking away of electrons. Okay, this is also called oxidation. Any reaction in which this happens, whenever electrons will be taken away from an element, that type of reaction will be called oxidation reaction. Okay, it is not necessary that oxygen can only take the electrons of calcium, or oxygen has only the property of taking away electrons. There are other elements also who do so. For instance, let us take sodium. Okay, sodium got one valence electron. Let us take another one as chlorine. Chlorine has 7 valence electrons. How many? 7. So when they are together, what they are going to do? They want to attain stability, so they are going to exchange their electrons. Yes, electron transfer is going to happen. So what does sodium do? Sodium is going to donate its electron. Okay, and what is chlorine going to do? Chlorine is going to accept the electron. The same thing what oxygen is doing. So for instance, if I am teaching you, I am not the only person in the whole world that will be teaching you. That would be various other persons also who would be teaching you. So if I am teaching you, I am a teacher. So if they are also teaching you, they are also teaching. So in the same way, this mechanism is not restricted to oxygen. There are other elements also who do so, and since they are doing the same mechanism, that reaction is again going to be said as oxidation. That is also going to be said as oxidation. This process will also be called what? Oxidation. Okay, did you get it? So this is done, and now you see that since it is not oxygen, is it oxygen? No. So who is doing this process of oxygen? Who is doing? Chlorine is doing the work of oxygen. No, what is the work of oxygen? The work of oxygen is to take away the electrons. What is the work of oxygen? To take away the electrons. Okay, now chlorine is also what doing? Taking away the electrons. So this chlorine is can be called as Achha, later. I will come to it later. Okay, but you understand this, that Na and Cl, when they combine, this also is an oxidation reaction. This reaction is also called an oxidation reaction. Okay, so now we move on to the next one. Okay, the next one is your what? Reduction. What is it? Reduction reaction. Reduction reaction. Okay, reduction is just the opposite of what? Oxidation reaction. So if it is just the opposite, you see what is oxidation? Oxidation is addition of oxygen. Okay, oxidation is addition of oxygen. So what can be reduction? Removal of oxygen. Reduction means what? Removal of oxygen. What is reduction? Removal of oxygen. Okay, so we don't understand anything without example. Let's see one example. Okay, for example, we have Fe2O3 plus we have Fe2O3 plus carbon. Okay, Fe2O3 plus carbon. You see what happens after the reaction happens. After the reaction, we have Fe plus CO2. You see that in that reaction, iron is added to or combined with oxygen. You know, iron is there with the oxygen is present. You know, so it is iron oxide. So after the reaction, you see that is there oxygen present with what? Iron? No. Where did the oxygen go? Oxygen has been taken away, or oxygen has been removed from iron. Oxygen has been removed from iron. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so oxygen has been removed from iron. So this process, you know, this is happening here. No, removal of oxygen is happening. What is happening? Removal of O2 has happened here. Removal of O2 has happened here. Since this has happened, this reaction will be termed as reduction reaction. This reaction will be termed as what? Removal of, reduction reaction. Now you see that oxygen was present with iron. Okay, oxygen was present with iron. Now who has taken away the oxygen? Who has taken away the oxygen? This oxygen has been taken away by carbon. Who has taken away the oxygen? Carbon has taken away the oxygen. Who has taken away the oxygen? Carbon has taken away the oxygen. So this carbon is called reducing agent. This carbon is called reducing agent. Okay, thus element or the substance which is responsible for the taking away of oxygen from the another compound. So who is responsible for the taking away of oxygen from iron oxide? Carbon is responsible. So carbon is taking away and it itself is being oxidized. Carbon itself gets oxidized. Carbon oxidized हो रहा है, carbon is being oxidized, but it reduces iron oxide. So this process, here, this is called your what? This is called reduction reaction. Okay. Now let's talk about that, electron weight. How in terms of electrons we can define reduction. Okay. So you see oxidation. In oxygen, what's taking away of electrons was called what? Oxidation. So if taking away is called oxidation, so what can be reduction? Called the opposite of taking away. The opposite of taking away is giving or donating. Giving or donating. So donation of electrons. Okay. Donation of electrons. Donation of electrons is called what? Donation of electron is called what? क्या बोलते हैं तो reduction. Is called reduction. Okay. So this is what happened. Acha, I talked to you about reducing agent here. I did not talk to you about oxidizing agent. So I can write here oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. So it is a substance. It is a substance that supplies ऑक्सीजन. ठीक है. तो जैसे यहाँ ऑक्सीजन है, अगर कोई ऐसा इंग्रेडिएंट है जो इस ऑक्सीजन को सप्लाई कर रहा है, अलग से प्रेजेंट है, सो दैट थिंग विल बी कॉल्ड एज व्हाट? Supplier of oxygen, and that supplier of oxygen will be called oxidizing agent. That supplier of oxygen will be called as oxidizing agent. Or okay, अच्छा, let this be, let it be. Or number one, or number two can be that if a substance provides something like oxygen, for example, a supplier of oxygen, but similarly if we have supplier of chlorine also, means supplier of something which does the work of oxygen, which does the work of ऑक्सीजन, मतलब ऑक्सीजन जैसे काम करने वाले चीज़ों को सप्लाई करने वाले थे. जैसे यदि कोई क्लोरीन भी प्रोवाइड कर रहा है, क्या प्रोवाइड कर रहा है? क्लोरीन, तो वो भी आपको क्या हो जाएगा? ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट हो जाएगा. क्या हो जाएगा? ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट. या फिर उसके तरह काम करने वाले किसी भी चीज़ों को, ठीक है, कोई भी ऐसा केमिकल जो इस तरह की चीज़ों को आपको प्रोवाइड करता है, विच प्रोवाइड सच टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स, विच हैज़ द कैपेसिटी टू टेक अवे इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, which has the capacity to take away electrons. When such type means the substances which supply such type of things which have the capacity of taking away electrons, that is called your what? Oxidizing agent. तो यहाँ पे हम लिख सकते हैं substance that supplies chemicals that has the ability to and the ability to accept or take away इलेक्ट्रॉन। ओके, तो ये सीधा साधा हो गया भाई। ऐसा कोई सब्सटेंस ना, ऐसा कोई सब्सटेंस जो ऑक्सीजन सप्लाई करे, ठीक है, वो ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट कहलाता है। या फिर ऐसा सब्सटेंस जो आपको ऐसा केमिकल प्रोवाइड करता है जिसके पास एबिलिटी है इलेक्ट्रॉन को एक्सेप्ट करने का या फिर इलेक्ट्रॉन को ले लेने का, मीन्स एबिलिटी टू टेक अवे इलेक्ट्रॉन्स। सो दैट टाइप ऑफ things, that type of substances are called oxidizing agent. So it is enough for today. So we will come out with more of the lectures related to this chapter, and also with physics and maths also I will be coming there. So if you like what I taught, please subscribe my channel, and please press on the bell icon. Okay, see you.